you've ever missed a connection, been delayed due to weather, or had a long layover, then you know all too well what it's like to have to stay in an airport for an extended period of time. It's one thing to have this happen to you during the day. At least there are things to do, like airport shopping, one of my faves, or grabbing a meal or finding a seat at a cafe to people watch. But what do you do when you have to spend the night in an airport? How do you survive? That's what we'll be diving into in today's episode. Hello, and welcome to the Anxious Adventure podcast. I'm Katie Schlegel, your host. I've traveled to a lot of places around this beautiful planet, seen so many jaw-dropping sights, and have met some pretty amazing human beings along the way. Now, if you don't know this yet, I'm an anxious adventurer. If you're wondering what an anxious adventure even means, well, to put it quite simply, it means that when I travel, I can get anxious or stressed out maybe a little easier or more often than the average person. However, over my many years of traveling, I've learned to tap into something special that makes traveling so much easier and more fun. That is, my intuition. And the more I've learned to trust my gut during my travels, the more synchronistic and healing my travel experiences have been. And this is my hope for you, my dear anxious adventurer, is that you use these travel stories and tips to help you tap into your intuition so that you too can be swept off into the wonderful and healing world that traveling can open up for you. A world of magical moments and beauty where you find out that this planet is really a friendly place. You just have to change the way you look at it, follow your gut, and step out your door. And don't you worry, I am right here beside you. Now you may be wondering, how did this overnight in the airport survival guide come to me? Well, it was from an experience I had on a domestic flight in the United States. I missed my connection and had to do just that, spend the night in the airport. Sure, I could have opted to stay at a hotel, but it was already 10 p.m. by the time I landed, and the earliest flight back to San Diego was at 6 a.m. And I didn't want to miss that flight. I ran through all the scenarios quickly in my head. If I went to a hotel, I probably wouldn't get checked in and settled until about midnight. Then I'd have to get up around 4 a.m. to get ready and head back to the airport for that 6 a.m. flight. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, but Katie, that's getting up awfully early. You don't have to get up that early. However, you have to factor in that they start boarding for that 6 a.m. flight around 5:20 a.m. So to me, it wasn't worth all the hassle, stress, and anxiety to go to a hotel. The least anxious option to me was to hunker down for the night at the airport. Now, I was not ready or prepared to do this. So this is where I created my own survival guide, to which I make it a point to carry all these items with me now. So if this ever happens again, or if I have an extended layover, I'm prepared and ready. As I've said before, being prepared is one of the first steps to easing your travel anxiety. So in today's episode, I invite you to bunker down with me for this rough night ahead at the airport as I share with you these essential items that will keep you warm, clean, and comfy. Whether you're in another country or traveling domestically, getting stranded at the airport is never on anyone's bucket list. I've spent many extended hours at airports all around the world, but it's the worst when you have a long layover at night or miss that connection and have to decide what to do. After these experiences, I now carry these essentials with me on all of my travels, just in case I ever have that dreaded overnight stay at an airport again. And here's the first one: an emergency blanket. I know, this seems a little extreme. It's not like we're lost in the mountains or finishing a marathon or anything. However, many airports have central air conditioning, and when there are hardly any bodies in the room, for example, at night, it can get really cold, especially if the only spot you can find to lay your weary head is by a window. Sure, you look a little strange pulling out your shiny blanket, but you will thank me when you are toasty and warm and sleeping like a baby. Plus, an emergency blanket is super compact. It's smaller than most cell phones. And hey, just think, if you ever do get lost in the mountains, you'll now be covered. Pun intended. Number 2 on the list is a yoga towel. This is so you can lay down on the floor. If you think about it, many airport seats have those armrests in between each and every seat. So it makes it really tough to lay down up off the floor. This is where the yoga towel comes in. Now, this is not your typical yoga mat. It's a towel version of a yoga mat. And no, I'm not saying you need to practice yoga during your overnight stay, though that might be helpful. But being that I like to exercise while I travel, I carry a lightweight yoga towel with me wherever I go. It not only serves as an exercise mat, but it also is a great barrier between you and that filthy airport floor. Okay, so maybe you don't think that what you're about to lay your face on is gross, but just think of all those travelers' feet and where they've been. Not to mention spills or mishaps of any kind. 2 words, babies or pets. Plus, the yoga towel is soft and comfy and stays put. And if you need more convincing, it can also double as a blanket on the airplane. Multi-purpose is what I'm talking about. Number 3 is a travel neck pillow. Once I got a neck pillow for traveling, I never leave home without it. It makes the traveling life much more comfortable and enjoyable. I use it especially on the plane, but it does come in handy when you have that unexpected night stay at the airport. It can become your BFF to lay your weary traveler's head on. And yes, even on domestic flights that are supposed to go off without a hitch, I bring it with me just in case. Number 4, a sleep eye mask. I dread it when I forget to take my beloved eye mask with me when I travel, especially if I'm trying to catch some shut-eye at the airport. I don't sleep well in new places, but this beauty helps keep out all the distractions and especially that bright light. If you've ever spent the night in the airport, then you know they don't turn off the lights for sleepy time. Those babies are bright and shining all through the night. So this comes in handy when you're needing that oh so desperate night's sleep. Number 5, earplugs. These are also a must. I take these on every trip. When I forget them, I do use my earphones and listen to music. But as you know, that drains the battery of your phone, and sometimes you can't afford to do that, depending on the airport you're in. Airports are noisy places, and that doesn't stop once the flights stop either. Between the night crew coming in and cleaning, and the red-eye flyers walking through, there will always be something happening during the night at the airport. You may not know it, but it's true. So these earplugs do come in handy when you need that rest and quiet. Number 6, deodorant. I know, this may sound funny to have on hand, but you'll thank me in the end, especially after a night on the floor. You'll definitely need that freshening up. That is why I take my deodorant with me in my carry-on. Not only does this help on those long stays in the airport, but it works wonders for freshening up after those long flights as well. Number 7, facial wipes. I use these at night to remove my makeup and in the morning to wipe the sleep, or lack thereof, off my face. These wipes are soothing and instantly gives me a feeling of refreshment. And after a night in the airport, you will most definitely need that. And here's a bonus tip for you. I use them on my neck and chest as well, just to feel a little bit more clean. These are great refreshers after those long flights, too. Number 8, wet ones, or baby wipes, however you want to go. I always have these in my purse just for the ease of being able to wash my hands no matter where I am. But I also use these for freshening up those parts that need a little refreshing after that long night, if you catch my drift. Number 9, a travel toothbrush and toothpaste. I always thought these were a little silly to have with you until I was caught overnight without them. My bags, along with my toothbrush and toothpaste, were stuck in a waiting area, and I was stuck with fuzzy feeling teeth. I now carry a travel toothbrush and toothpaste whenever I travel. What's awesome about these is that they are compact and small, great for on the go. Sure, they don't compare to your fancy Sonicare toothbrush, but you will thank me when you have that clean feeling on those pearly whites in the morning. Number 10, facial spray. Whether it be a fancy Evian water facial spray or you make your own, this awesome beauty spray hydrates your skin like none other. And you will definitely need it after that night fight between you and the airport floor. I DIY mine in a 3-ounce spray bottle. And here's my recipe. It's simple. Ready? Water, 5 drops of lavender essential oil, and 5 drops of frankincense essential oil. I spray a few spurts before I go to sleep as well, as the lavender is calming to the nerves. And then, after I put on my makeup in the morning, I do a few more. It literally knocks the sleep off your face and gives you that oh-so-needed glow. Number 11, tissues. No matter what country you are in or what airport you're spending the night, you never know when the toilet paper will run out. And sometimes the airport bathrooms don't even provide toilet paper. So that is why I have tissues with me for those just-in-case moments. Plus, who doesn't need a tissue every once in a while, right? And finally, number 12. I always have a plug converter and portable charger. Much of my travel is often overseas, so I don't ever pack my plug converter in my suitcase. It is always in my purse or carry-on. You never know when you'll need it, and if you couldn't sleep and were watching movies all night long on your cell phone, this will definitely come in handy so you can plug in your cell phone wherever you are in the world. I also have a portable charger ready and loaded, just in case there are no plugs to be found or they're all taken. I don't know how many times this has happened to me at the airport, and I am then left with a dead cell phone. Having a portable charger allows me to know I can charge my phone wherever I am in the world, which definitely eases my anxiety. And there you have it, your very own survival guide for an overnight stay in the airport. Hopefully this will never happen to you, but if it does, now you have some tricks up your sleeve to make it a bit more pleasant. This is my last podcast episode for 2023. I want to sincerely thank you for being part of this journey and tuning in to all my episodes this year. You all have been amazing. I have some pretty great episodes planned for 2024 with more guests, travel stories, travel guides, and so much more. I'm super excited for the year ahead. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, remember to please follow, subscribe, and hit those 5 stars if you like the podcast. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you leave a 5-star review, I'll definitely give you a shout out. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Mariposa Skies, because that's where I share all the visual parts of this podcast and so much more. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little, maybe laughed a little, and my hope is that it gave you some things to think about. Until next year, my dear anxious adventurers, I wish you happy travels and a very happy new year. See you in 2024. Ciao. Besos. Mwah.